go ahead and stand for it. Okay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So I think our first thing is everybody good with the agenda? That'd be the first thing to vote on, so.
You need to do roll call.
Oh, yeah, roll call, thank you. That's the next thing on the agenda. Okay. Thanks, Lori. All right, so Elizabeth is here. Meg Quinn.
Lori,
Matt.
Matthew Mitchell here.
And okay, so we have a quorum. And then Maya and Josh are currently not present. Sometimes they might come in.
Okay, and the next thing is going to be approval of the agenda.
Okay,
Our agenda for tonight, we are going to approve minutes from the September 30th meeting and the October 15th work session. We don't have those copies here, so.
okay. We should look at them in advance anyway. So,
And then we'll have new business. We have 4 items. Review the employer survey, discuss kickoff of the employee survey, review draft marketing materials, review village internal survey results if available, and then we'll have the adjournment.
so I know the internal results are not yet available, so that'd be the one change. But we'll talk a little bit about the internal survey, so we'll just modify that to say, talk about the internal survey.
Okay?
Okay, all right, so is everybody good, everybody in favor of that?
yes.
Yes, Matt? Okay, all right, very good, that passes.
Okay.
Okay, so first thing is review employer survey.
Well, first thing, approval of minutes.
Oh,
I'll first.
I'll second. Yes, can I do that? All right. In favor, everybody in favor?
Yes.
Okay, very good.
Okay, so new business, review employer survey.
Okay, so I'll just give you the same summary that I went over with village council, if that's okay.
Uh-huh.
I just said we had a wide variety of respondents, and which included the Angel Fire Resort, local retailers, construction people, restaurants, property management, and then even like trades and services like plumbers and electricians and things like that. So I think we had a really good variety of responses.
Yes.
We had 35 respondents. They said that they had both full-time and part-time employees, but we didn't ask for a breakout there, so that's okay though. And they employ about 1,300 people. 900 of that is the Angel Fire Resort. So I'm assuming there's a big chunk of that would be part-time.
Yeah.
Roughly 650 people live in Angel Fire, 450 of that being the Angel Fire Resort. That's amazing. I don't know how that works. That's what they said. 79% responded that their employees or contractors face challenges finding local housing. About 330 were unable to find local housing, and that 200 of that being the Angel Fire Resort. And 28 of the 36 said that they have struggled to hire due to lack of housing. So that's a pretty big percentage. 75%.
How much? 28%?
28 of the 36. So that's going to be like somewhere around 75%.
Yeah.
Yeah. 22 of the respondents anticipating hiring more people in the next year, about 350, and 200 that would be the resort. So even 150 of other types of folks. Some characteristics mentioned as needed. We need seasonal housing as well as long-term housing. We need a mix of sizes, everything from efficiencies all the way up to 3 bedrooms. They want durable housing. I don't know what that means. I mean, I'm just saying, whatever. And
They know what build yurts.
Yeah. And they need non-congregate family housing, which I think, there's a couple ways I would interpret non-congregate. They don't want hostels.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe they don't want to share with other people either. That could be, they don't want to get a 3-bedroom and share with 2 other, you know, people. They just want a family house. So anyway, that's the details that I have. Hi, Brett. And, so I think overall we had a good responses,
Yeah.
and it's obvious from that we do, even the employers believe that we need housing. And you know, it's a shame that some people, there were even some comments about one business decided to leave because they couldn't get enough employees and couldn't get enough housing. You know, other people said several from the comments said that they would have employees they offered jobs to, but that they wouldn't accept it because they couldn't find housing. So there's a lot of that. So I don't know if you want to add anything else, Matt? No?
Sorry, I had to take it off mute. No, I think that about covers it.
Okay. Okay. All right, so I think overall we had, I mean, you know, we only had 36 respondents, but it was a good cross,
Yeah.
you know, so I thought that was good. Any other thoughts from anyone else about that? Lori
Was
or
there-
Jane?
Was anybody on the committee surprised at these numbers?
I don't know. I mean, I wish we would have had more respondents, but I think they're good numbers.
No,
I
I
was-
think they're great. I think they're really good numbers. I just, it doesn't seem like this should have all been anticipated is what like, were they shocked how, you know, that you're looking at 300 we have already and 350 more possibly coming in the next year or two. That's 700
Yeah.
well, that we're gonna have to try to house pretty quickly. That's a lot.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can't do it all at once, I don't think, but, you know, we can do what we can, so.
We can start chipping away
Yeah, exactly, that's kind of the
and
point,
just
yeah,
exactly do what we can.
okay?
Yeah.
Okay, all right,
One minor thing to add is there's 2 extra responses since I sent you that, so I
okay,
can send you an update.
okay. Anything special about those? Just looking at
No,
that.
pretty similar to everything before, it looks like.
Okay.
Although actually, it's interesting. It's two different businesses, but filled out by the same person. So I don't know what that means. Anyway,
Maybe they
I'll
all two
take a closer look.
Okay, okay, very good. All right, so next item on the
Next
agenda?
item is going to be discuss the kickoff of the employee survey.
Okay, all right, so I'll just give a little update. So today Matt created an abbreviated version of the survey for the internal village employees. And the things that we took off of it's basically the same survey that we're gonna do for employee, except we took off the wage questions because after Jake and I talked, Jake was thinking, we don't need that because we have that data. So we don't, but this is just for the internal Village of Angel Fire employees. So we took off the wage data and we took off, is that BJ? Hi, BJ. And we took off the, there was the very first 2 questions were, do you plan on, or something about like, do you plan on working in Angel Fire for the next, do you work in Angel Fire? Do you plan on working in Angel Fire for the next 5 years? And we took those 2 questions off and we replaced it with, what department do you work in it, you know, so that the supervisors of those departments, you know, can get a count of how many of their employees have responded. So that was basically the only changes that we made. So there's 2 or 3 questions come off about income and that kind of thing. And then those 2 questions got changed to 1. And that was requested from Brett and Jake. And so I did a quick run through of it, looked fine. Jake, I don't know if you took a look at it. And if the questions are good to you.
I did. So I went through the internal village one.
Huh.
The only thing I would say is the reason we're doing this one with the QR code, not all village employees get issued hardware or an email address. So we wanted people to be able to do it on their smartphone. Elizabeth or Matt, have either of you done that survey on a smartphone? Because it has a like a ranking on some of the questions and it works very well on a computer, but I haven't forwarded it to a cell phone to try it there. Is that something either of you have messed with?
I think, I'm trying to remember, I did it earlier today and I'm trying to remember if I did it on my cell phone or if I did it on my iPad, but, I can try it again.
Yeah, I
And,
haven't tried that, but I will.
okay.
I in my opinion, I think the village one is ready to go. Again, we're not that one is not for public consumption, so it doesn't need to be perfect. We're going to
Right.
need that data sooner rather than later based on some things I'll update you guys on in a little bit. So if one of us or a couple of us can just try it on the cell phone. I thought the questions laid out fine. I thought removing some of the extraneous stuff we don't need also worked fine. I just want to make sure that it is a painless process on a smartphone because that's basically what we're counting on village employees to do this on as a QR code to a smartphone completion.
Okay, okay. So yeah, we can both test it and then we'll have to just go one of those free QR code generator screens and generate a QR code. And, then, so next step is, once we're good with the test on an iPhone, if that works out well, then the next step would be to generate the QR code and then take it to the village. And then does council have to approve it or?
No, there's nothing that council needs to approve about this, in my opinion. I don't know if Manager Weir or BJ are sitting there, but we'd really like to get this data sooner rather than later. And because we're not sending it out to the public, there's nothing really for us to approve. There's no extra money being spent here because this is just part of our, monthly type form cost. So as long as Manager Weir is comfortable with it and comfortable in the format we've given it, because my impression here is he's going to disseminate this to the department heads and
Right.
task them with, a checklist or something to make sure we get, a high percentage of responses on this.
Okay, so, well, BJ showed up and Brett stepped out, so they're over in another space, but we can ask him if he comes back in, okay?
Sure, sure.
One minor question on that. By the way, to answer your question, Jake, I just tried it and it works just fine on the phone.
Okay. It was just those quick ranking. I want to make
Yeah.
sure you could slide them up and down properly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one quick question is, there were very slight differences between that and the previous survey. Are we going to aggregate them? Do we want them to look exactly the same? Because that might not make comparison as easy as.
I don't think so. And I don't want to step on the agenda, but so Rocky, Lyra, and I are headed to Albuquerque on the 18th for the award of the grant from the Mortgage Finance Authority. That is their board meeting. I got an email from them today. They are looking for pictures of the dirt and a write-up. They're essentially looking for marketing materials, which, again, no promises have been made, no dollars have changed hand, but I take all of these to be good signs. So when I'm rank ordering our survey results, I think it kind of mirrors what our governance documents look like, in that the internal village survey is probably the most important data because those are going to be the vast majority of our tenants for the limited number of housing we're going to have quickly, right? So I think the internal village survey is the most important, and then the employer survey second. I think the employee survey, it's all great information and it all helps us with many things going forward. But the employer one is the one that I look is going to help us drive, in particular, the question of how many 2 and 3 bedrooms. I have loaded in the floor plans for the 2 and 3s that we have now. Those have not been finalized at all, but I've given that over to our architecture firm that we have under contract with all of the survey and topo maps, and asked for both a 30-unit layout and a 40-unit layout just for spacing purposes. So the hope here is that over the next couple of weeks, we get those 30 and 40 unit layouts back. We're going to hear something back from MFA on what, if any, monies they're going to give to us. And then the very next steps are going to be starting the environmental impact survey, starting the engineering work for the underground utilities, the pad sites, all of that, and then selecting all of the exterior trim details, the actual modular or mobile home manufacturer. So we want to make sure that we hit the ground running, in winter, and that whatever we have to load into council that does require approval, we've got to be mindful of getting those in as early as we can in January and February, because there's going to be some things we need approval on, but we don't want to be slowing down any decision points, or particular once we hit that April 1st end of the dig moratorium. We'd really like to have already gone out for RFP and awarded, dirt work, water lines, all of that to a contractor, so that, we don't mess up our timeline here of having occupiable units next summer. So I think we're going to hit, first of the year, Christmas, and have a lot of little things that we're going to need to do. So any cleanup we can do now, I just don't think aggregating all of the data together really helps. I suspect what we're going to find is a common theme amongst village employer, employee, that, hey, we need more housing. The biggest question is what type and what costs are going to make sense, and putting it all together. While there might be some benefit there, I don't think it's worth us taking the time or slowing anything down to make that easier down the road, unless you guys disagree.
Yeah, and I know, so we'll probably be very busy January, February, March, I imagine, with all the little things, because you want things to come through the committee first before it goes. So we'll need to time our meetings ahead of so we can decide on things before the recommendations for the council.
Correct. So we'll need to, if we have to vote something to approve to council, we need to be mindful that generally your second and fourth Tuesdays are going to be the dates that council will be meeting on. That moves around a little, so obviously we can pay attention to that. But yeah, we want to be mindful that we've got things ready to vote on to elevate to council for an upcoming meeting, so that council can approve it as well.
So you have what you need for your 18th meeting?
I do. There's a couple of things I was going to ask of Manager Weir, and these are really, it's details that his MFA is asking us. They're asking us for, like I said, marketing materials that are going to help look good. I'm going to ask for some more details on the 12 open positions, what those are, the types of employees we'll be able to hire, that we have housing that we can't hire for now. So that's all internal information that I can get. But
not from this committee, that you don't need anything else.
Not from this committee, no. And the same way, we will at some point have some actual site plans that are preliminary we can start looking at and seeing fit wise how many units. That to me is the next big hurdle. Is, okay, are we going to fit 30 units or 32 units or 38 units, or what's going to fit on the site given all of the other things we want? The other big hurdle is going to be, we have not actually selected a housing vendor. I've been contacted by another 2 or 3 since our last meeting. Everyone, hey, I hear you're going to buy housing. We'd like an opportunity to bid for that. And that's great. We'll certainly look at anything that's out there. A lot of those decisions are going to hinge on how much money MFA gives us and that type of thing. And we're kind of in a holding pattern right now, because we have an opportunity to get a fair amount of money from MFA. We can't be loading we can't go spending money now until after the award has been finalized, essentially. So we've got a couple of 3 weeks here where we really can't go out and spend any more money, because it then won't qualify for grant funds that may follow.
Yeah, I just want to make sure you didn't need something else from us to get to that meeting.
No. So the big things I need right now, and I reiterate this to Liz, is we need to get the village internal thing cranked into Manager Weir just as absolutely quickly as we can. That's a need. I need to follow up as well. Elizabeth reminded me, we have sent our governance documents into the attorney for review, and I don't believe we've ever heard back on that. So I need to follow back up with Manager Weir and the attorney and see where that document sets. So making sure that we've gotten everything back, so we're ready on all fronts to move forward with some of the big decisions.
Okay, and then I think that, I was going to mention them. So I think if we can get the QR code, maybe Matt, if you could just do could you do that? Get the QR code
Yeah, so that I don't think I've ever done before, but I imagine it's easy. I just Google, turn into a QR code, turn a link into a QR code.
Something like that, like a free QR code generator, and I think you
Got it.
probably just put in the web link. I've never done it before either, because
Okay.
for this,
My-
the next on our agenda, the marketing lady did that one, so.
Well, and I don't think we need to go to the marketing lady for the internal village survey because it's not public consumption. So Matt, if you have success and can get that generated, and I think if everyone's comfortable that the iPhone or phone situation works fine, that we email that to Manager Weir as soon as it's available. Let him take a look at it, do a couple of tests with internal with him, and then have him disseminate it to the departments as soon as possible.
And I'm good with Matt, if you wanna send that to Brett and Jake and just copy me, that's great.
Sure.
You don't have to send it to me and then me have to send it, I'm fine with it going direct, so.
Okay.
Okay. All right, very good.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Okay, then second part of employee kickoff thing.
Mhm.
So, so we're gonna talk about, the next thing on our agenda is gonna talk about the flyer, which I sent everybody via email, but I wanna talk about when do we wanna kick this one off, because we're coming into Christmas season. So I think once we get the flyer finalized, it'd just be a matter of, and we need this approved by council, I think, don't you, Jake? So it'd
I
be
think
like,
so. Since
Yeah.
we spent money, since we're spending money on it, we should have council approve it for sure.
so that's December 10th is their next meeting, I believe. So it
Correct.
would be, and then we'd have to give the marketer time to, print some flyers and do the social media posts. So my question would be, as far as timing, do we want to kick it off before Christmas, or do we want to wait till the new year? This is going to be everybody else besides the village employees.
Right.
So,
Honestly, I think if we can wait on the data, we should do it after New Year.
Mhm.
We're all going into, anybody who's doing retail,
mhm.
working at the resort, or it's crazy time.
Okay.
And, people, you've got so many things vying for your attention. I think it would be better if we push that out, because people will be taking a breath.
Mhm.
Okay, okay, cool.
Mhm. And we could give them, I mean, it's not like we need them to respond in a week. We could give them plenty of time to respond. I think the first swath of housing is obviously gonna be to address, the village, and then, and if we have some results, say like by March 15th or something like that, we keep it open for 6 to 8 weeks, then, just keep the flyers open and let people respond, then we would have another set of data that, we could maybe get ahead of at the same time with, if it makes sense, if we know we're gonna need, if we know we're gonna need 50 more houses and we could do 10 more at the same time and it made monetarily sense and we had the money, maybe that might be good to know by April 1st. What do you think about that, Jake?
I think getting the employee survey posted up during ski season makes the most sense because then you're going to catch so many of the seasonal employees. I can appreciate just the timing of maybe we can't get it done before Christmas. So remind me, have we requested that the marketing firm start on the flyer yet or not?
No, I sent it.
We have a flyer.
Draft.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's on
So
the,
is there any reason not to approve the draft flyer? Because if we have the survey tool backend built and we have the flyer, we could, in theory, vote on it this evening for council to approve it at next week's meeting, and then work with the marketing team to figure out when the most effective time to get it. Because this is going to be a social media blitz and then post it up at the post office and everywhere else that the village posts their agenda. We'll obviously ask local businesses in town to post the flyer, but it's not a huge ask that we're giving of our businesses to put up a housing flyer for us, I don't think.
We may not get a lot of responses before Christmas, but maybe after. If we, I think, go ahead, Lori, go ahead.
Matt, did you pay for a yearly fee? Like, does it end in December for this program?
Jake will remember when, I think.
I think Typeform it's like a software subscription. It's a monthly fee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
And
That's, I was
it's
just checking because
it's fairly nominal. Like this is less than $50 a month is
no,
my recollection.
we were on a
And we're
deadline.
gonna let it run until we're done with the tool, essentially.
Okay.
That's a good point. Good.
Yeah, I think on the timing, yeah, we definitely want to get it done
Mhm.
ASAP. Just putting out there, just going up to Christmas, New Year's, it's such a crazy time, but yeah, right after New Year's, people will have time to take a breath and focus, and we want to get that back,
Mhm.
in January, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So, I do like the idea of let's go ahead and talk about the flyer that we got and, if we're good with it, we can vote on that tonight. If we have changes, then I'll take those back to her. And then really we can talk with her on, what timing does she need to do the social media posts and all that, once we get it approved by council. So everybody did get this via email, and has everybody had a chance to look at it?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I sent her, basically, I just sent her, said, we kind of liked the flyer that we used for the cleanup day. And, and I had done some searches on or housing surveys. And I found some wording and she's really got it. Mine was a little less wordy, but I think her ads actually are fine. I don't think there's too much here to read. And, we need your input will definitely, catch somebody's eye. So the only thing I had a question about for me personally was everybody good with the graphic up at the top? What I had visioned was something related to trees and houses and things like that. But, it doesn't matter to me if everybody thinks that that's a catchy marketing, eye-catching thing and it's not negative, that kind of thing. Because we want it to be a positive. We want people to answer. So, I'll just go through and that's my thoughts. What do you think, Megan?
Well, I was just saying this to you earlier, Elizabeth. So in the colors, it's red, yellow, green, and the green's got a smiley face. I think psychologically, you've got the arrow pointing to the smiley face. It's green. Green means go.
Mhm.
I think there's some positive cues there.
Mhm.
And then this arrow down here is in the same green.
Mhm.
So I think it's kind of giving you some visual cues to kind of walk through. I thought, oh, I'm gonna have a cute little house and
Yeah.
something, but I'm like, I think this is a kind of a call to action, and it matches the call to action
Yeah.
verbally that's there. That's my thought. I like it.
Matt? Oh, you're on mute.
All right, I always have to find my mute button. I don't have much to add. I think that all makes sense. It looks, I think the branding is consistent with kind of the message we're trying to send and who we are.
It also has the village. It also has the village logo to make it, hey, this is the Village of Angel Fire putting this out, not a developer or someone else. So I think it hits all the bases.
And Lori?
I'm fine with it.
Okay. I mean, if we're all good with it, there's no sense in us, spending a whole bunch of time on it. I mean, it's, if it's effective, then I think we go for it. And so,
I think the most important thing is it has to be able to catch their eye.
yeah.
And I guess
And
the colors on top do.
Okay, so good. And then I'm assuming she'll do something similar with the social media post, in the same line. So yeah, if the council approves it, then we'll go forward and then I'll get, I'll let her know. I'll let her know that we approved it and that it's going to council for approval. Once it's approved by council, then I'm assuming, Brett can issue the check.
We need to vote then.
Oh, that's a good point. We should vote.
I would, yes.
Okay,
I move that we accept the employee survey marketing materials as presented.
Second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, all right, we're good. Okay, thank you for keeping us on track there. Okay. All right, and then, what time is it? Are we doing good on time? Oh, wow, we're doing fantastic on time.
Hey, Elizabeth, if you would, the form that Rocky has to get things on the council agenda, if you will fill that out and attach the marketing flyer,
Okay.
get that to him so he can get it on the council agenda for next week.
Okay,
I thought we'd already sent the employee survey to the council.
we
The
did, this is the marketing material approval.
Yeah, no, I mean, we were gonna send the survey again, employee survey again.
No, not the employee survey for approval, just the marketing material, this flyer for approval by
Okay.
council. Okay, so I'll do that and I'll do that tomorrow. And send to Rocky, and maybe I should send to Ilian. Is Rocky still out or is he, or is it just this evening that he wasn't here? We don't know. I'll send it to Rocky and I'll copy her. Okay, all right. So health department attach the flyer to get on agenda. Okay. All right, so then, since we have some extra time, Jake, is there anything you wanna?
So there was one other thing, Elizabeth, I just forwarded this email to you this evening, so you won't have seen it just yet, but I got an email from the chair of the Comprehensive Plan Committee. They were looking for discussion items from our committee on existing conditions, issues, challenges. They had their form that they wanted. So if you guys wouldn't mind kicking that thing around by email so we can get it back over to them. The next things for me are really all building around the 18th and that trip to Albuquerque. The hope is that I will have the preliminary 30 and 40 unit layout back over the next week or so. So I don't know if there will be anything else that we'll need to do that would warrant having another meeting between now and Christmas for this committee. My guess is not, but I would be prepared that we might need to hit some meetings pretty hard right after the holidays to kind of keep up with the workload that's about to get thrown in.
Okay, so.
Did they purchase the lot?
Oh yeah, we've closed on the lot. That was a couple of months ago. I think I mentioned it. So yeah, we've closed on the 4.25 acres. We have received our survey back. So when I typed up the email to the architect, we included notes, not officially from you all, but from some of you and from council on, we'd like a 30 unit layout and a 40 unit layout. We asked for an 80-20 split weighted towards 2 bedrooms versus 3 bedrooms. We asked for green space, for a potential playground to be put up later. Mayor Lindsay and I went and looked at some of the tiny homes out at the RV resort. So I asked for a 15 to 17 foot standoff between the units for parking and snow and those types of things. So we kind of just gave a base. Here's what we want it to look like. We were able to provide all the digital files from the survey company that did the survey of the lot. So hopefully we'll get that back soon, and that will become our first working document to say, okay, here's what it looks like. We're going to know here in the next couple of weeks what kind of money we will be getting from MFA towards this endeavor. There will be lots of little decisions left to make on, do we move forward with sustainability partners and some type of a financing of some portion of the housing stock itself. That is going to depend on how much money MFA does or doesn't give us. We still have to select the actual vendor for home, exterior colors. I feel like we're just going to kind of get flooded with details over the next 60 days or so, but in a good way. These are all, detail steps in furtherance of actually getting some housing on site sooner rather than later. So
Great.
Okay, so we did talk about the document, in response to your email. We had went through, remember I had put this draft together and we made some notes and then you had taken, do we have an updated draft? Is that something that I need to do?
Not yet, yeah.
Okay. So, so based on the minutes in that, I can do that since I have the original document. So I'll do that, Liz, update. And then I'll send that out and then we'll just ask for a quick approval to forward that to the committee via email. And then the other thing I wanted to just make a quick note about is, so the Association of Realtors that Angel Fire is part of, they do some grants for things.
Oh,
They, well, you know, they're more like, charitable grants. So there's not a lot of things that we would ask for in Ainge Fire because our charitable needs in Ainge Fire are significantly less than the other places that participate in the Association of Realtors. But one thing that we might do as we get closer to, we might just keep this on our radar, is if we wanted to ask them to donate, to give us a donation for playground equipment or, you know, lands, a little bit of nice
Lands,
volunteer landscaping, you know, that kind of thing for the,
yeah.
for the thing, that would be something that we could, maybe put in.
Picnic tables would be a good one
Yeah.
as well. Yeah.
Picnic tables and maybe like a, who knows, I'm not talking about basketball court or anything like that, but you know what I'm talking about. Maybe
Yeah.
like a little area that kids could go play around in, so that could be something, and
Yeah. we could present that. That'd be interesting.
Megan and I can do that because we're both part of that, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we just keep that on our radar. And then the only other thing we had talked about last time was the committee charter. I think we need to come back to that at some point. But, as far as the next meeting is January 3rd, so you said 2nd. So I don't know that we'll have anything necessarily to give to council on the 10th. Would there be second Tuesday? They would be meeting on the 14th of January? When is the first
Let me-
council meeting?
Let me pull up my calendar and see if I have it that far out. Give me just a second.
Yeah, you're probably right, but second Tuesdays. So I
It,
can
it,
meet
sh- it should fall on the 14th because the 7th is actually the first Tuesday.
on, okay,
yeah,
so so the earliest I can meet is the 13th. So I don't know, we could meet and just, just prepare stuff for the 28th meeting, because the 13th would be too late to get it on the 14th but we could at least, see what there is to talk about. Is that, and, between now, so if that's an okay date with everybody, I would assume that would be fine. January
I think
13th.
I think that would be fine. If we can, some of the paperwork, some of the charter and the comp plan stuff, if any of that can get batted around in email back and forth, and then be ready for a vote on that on whatever the first committee meeting is in January. I
Okay,
think that would be good. I would plan on that meeting, maybe even being a little long, because there's going to be a lot of things that happen between now and then, particularly as it relates to the grant. That will be the first time you all will get to see the layouts. So, we've gone a little quick on this meeting, which is great, but I think the next one we might plan for an hour and a half. So maybe
Okay.
not put it before a council meeting, or, where we have a hard end or something if possible.
okay,
So let's maybe, with setting the agenda, maybe if we have report from council liaison at the top.
yeah, that's fine. That'd be
And then
good.
we'll do a review and approve, committee charter, and review and approve, comprehensive plan. Document, yeah.
Okay, and
Okay.
then we'll review, the employee survey results. Both the village and any preliminary results that we have, if available, preliminary results from the village-wide one. Yeah, because once the council approves this, I'll take the go-to to get it kicked off with the marketer, so we can just get that going.
The other thing that I'm sure is going to need some work is, if we can if the lawyer is done with the governance documents, I'm sure there will be some markups there that we're going to have to review.
Okay.
Okay,
Review and approve, or just review governance documents?
I mean,
Well,
if
I
it's
was-
possible to approve, but
approve changes
Yeah.
and vote on changes, instead of saying approve, let's do vote on changes. I heard my name, I heard Elizabeth. What did you want to ask, Brett? I'll go get him. Jay,
the
or
big
do-
thing is Has he gotten that back from legal yet? I don't know, because that was,
Oh.
there were several documents that we had loaded into legal. And if you remember, we actually changed legal counsel there back in the fall. So has this one gotten any work done on it yet, or is it sitting? And I'm not sure the answer to that question.
I'll go see if I can ask him real quick since we have a couple minutes, unless he's, and then other than that, I think anything else for the agenda, if y'all can think of? Brett? Where's Brett?
He's in his office. Sorry, I had to borrow him.
Oh, that's okay, we need him for one question.
Yeah, it sounded like it was coming from over there.
I know,
I was like,
I don't know how they got over there, they must have went outside.
Yeah, sorry, I needed to borrow him for a minute.
Oh,
you guys are like moving around mysteriously here, because we heard voices
Yeah.
over here.
I know, I saw y'all go that way. So we had sent our governance document to legal, and we're just wondering if you've heard anything back from them yet on that.
No, but I'll call her.
Okay,
My one disappointment with our legal counsel is they're very slow to respond.
okay. So, well, Brett was just asking about that, because we're at our next meeting, which would be the 13th, if
So
it's
we've
available.
got a month and,
Yeah.
almost a month and a half, so.
Maybe we can get it back from them and see what changes they want, so we can discuss those at our next meeting.
Okay,
So we're planning, our tentative plan is to get it on the 13th, assuming the space is available for us to do that. So,
okay.
okay,
All right, I'll get with her. Actually, I have a meeting with her on the airport on Wednesday, so
Okay.
maybe I'll make a note to myself to bring that up then.
okay, sounds good. Anything else, Jake or Brett?
Nope, that was the big one. Just trying to make sure we have all the paperwork in line. So we're gonna have some revisions on that, I'm sure, but let's go ahead and make sure. Because I think we loaded that in, Brett, when we were in the middle of changing. So I just want to make sure it actually got to the new attorney, and I don't know if they've done any work on it yet or not.
Okay.
And what was your question for us?
Did y'all go over the email we got today?
For the comprehensive plan? Yes.
No,
No.
the one from MFA about the marketing materials, the write-up for the benefits of Angel Fire, this is MFA has asked us for some pictures of the dirt and what this would mean for the village of Angel Fire to get the money that we did briefly talk about in the beginning.
I mean, they're serious, or they wouldn't be asking for that.
Right, yeah, we talked about it. I think Jake has everything from us. We've got, the abbreviated survey ready for the village. We're just gonna get you the QR code. You'll get that from Matt maybe tomorrow or next day.
Did you already send it to me, Matt? Is that the email I just
Yeah,
got?
you just got it.
Wow. That's good. So
Yep.
that's ready to go.
And having testimonials from employees looking for housing help.
So yeah, I mentioned, that's not, they haven't awarded us any money yet. That's not a guarantee, but I would call that a strong buying sign that they're looking for press release type materials from us.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, so. Yeah, and I think the only other update that I had was, the piece of property that is between Zeb's and the hardware store. So not behind where we bought, but the one in between.
Mhm.
The person that is buying that, who has a contract on it right now, is planning on doing workforce housing as well. They're still in some kind of due diligence phase. They also have a backup offer from one of the developers that we've talked to several times that really wants to do something, So I sent him the piece of property that's out on Freya.
Mhm.
And then I wondered if that, I know that Kurt put together the cost of extending the sewer lines. I didn't know if that was a public document that we could share with that developer or not. Is that something we could share?
It's public.
Okay, is it posted out as one of the attachments on one of the council meetings? I could look
I'd
back.
have to look and make sure. I'm not sure.
Okay, cause I know y'all went over them. I was sitting in the meeting when y'all did that, so if they are, I might just share that with them as long as it's a public document. And
Yeah, if it
then,
was discussed in a public meeting, it's
public document,
public information.
okay. So I might share that, and then, I looked around for other properties and they're, Those two were the best ones, really.
I mean, as much as we're ready to,
Mhm.
do multiple phases of this is just phase one.
Right,
And we're committed to it, but if industry steps up and does it for us,
yeah.
as long as it gets done,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
So,
and as long as it's workforce housing and we have the MFA ordinances in place, we can still assist those developers as much
Yeah.
as MFA will legally allow us. So it's not like we would have no input on any potential developer phases in the future. And I agree with Manager Weir. If we could find a developer to get us, 200 more housing units put up over the next several years here in town, then that's less we have to do. It doesn't change my mind about this first phase, but
no,
right,
I would love that this kicks off somebody else to do the work instead of all of us.
right. So anyway, like you said, I've had probably two approach me. I know BJ's been approached by several, Jake's been approached by several, so there's developers out there who want to do it because they know that we're putting this ordinances in place. And that gives them the opportunity to also try to get some, partnership and they might also be able to get some money from the state from MFA. I don't know. I mean, that's not really that's their thing, but
Well,
if we,
and I think all of the survey work that you guys have done is going to be helpful for any future developer that would come along. We initially had reached out to the Economic Development District about doing a survey and they didn't have any money for it. So we've kind of gone our own route doing that, but that's all usable data. I mean,
Right.
Matt mentioned the number earlier, but 340 housing units shy is the hope is that will embolden somebody to jump out there and say, okay, if there's that much demand for housing, I can't get hurt with a 60 or a 70 or 100 unit development. So I appreciate, all your work and everyone else's about getting that survey out there. And
Mhm.
we'll hope that the next couple of surveys give us the same picture.
Mhm. Sounds
Jake,
good.
you ever talk to the condo people again to see if they had any idea about going from short term to long term?
I have been pestering the condo people on lots of things, unfortunately. I've been pestering them for this committee. I've been pestering them for the Dark Sky Ordinance Committee. So I think as some of the condo people see me coming, they go, oh, crap, he wants to ask me more questions again.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you're still, what, early by the end of summer, you were talking, maybe we would have some done.
Mhm.
Yeah, I timeline wise, the biggest thing, if we get MFA money, that's going to be great, but it's going to require us to do this environmental impact survey. Fortunately, Rocky and Manager Weir reached out to our on-call engineering firm, who we do lots of work with, and they have completed dozens of these with MFA. So they know how to do the process. They know what needs to be done. It is going to take some time. We figure this is going to take at least 60 or 90 days for them to complete to MFA's satisfaction. So that is the next time hurdle is once MFA says, okay, do this, we're going to need to be issuing a work order to Dennis Engineering to say, do this environmental impact survey as absolutely fast as you can. And then, oh, by the way, once it's done, start working on the water and sewer layouts for us as well. So it gives us still, we have a good chunk of winter and no dig season to do that, but we don't want to keep sliding, 60 more days past. We gotta go with what we got.
Mhm.
yeah, ideally, we would have if we're gonna do construction work, we would have the RFPs all ready, to go by the end of March.
Mhm. Yeah, we've said we knew we were gonna be really busy January, February, March, so
Right.
we'll have all that ready to, I mean, I don't know what we do for that, but we'll figure it out. And then,
Well, y'all have to write a scope of work and then work with Julie Culhan, our CPO,
okay,
to actually go out and do the RFP.
okay,
Publicize it, and then there's processes you have to go through.
yeah,
And Julie can handle that, but the one thing she can't do is write the scope of work, because she doesn't know what y'all know.
okay, sounds good. So
Well,
I think we'll
and-
get
and-
those plans.
Correct. The next big thing is once we hear back from the architect on what the 30 and 40 unit layout looks like, that's why getting that internal survey to Manager Weir, because again, it was an educated guess on our part, but I asked specifically for 20% 3 bedrooms and 80% 2 bedrooms. And we may put that survey to all the department heads and go, that's wrong. We need to do 50-50 or 60-40 or something else. So it's going
Right.
to change the layout of the space itself.
Right.
And I would just as soon use village employee data for that because they get first right of refusal to be a tenant. So
Exactly.
if whatever their blend says, that's what's going to drive the layouts, and the layouts are going to drive everything else.
Right,
All right, very good. Thank you.
All right,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you.
All right, so I think that's it. Anything else on anybody's mind?
Thank you all for your time. Sorry I couldn't be there in person. I just, like I said, with the holiday colds and whatnot, and I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving and is set up for Christmas quite well.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh, what
Appreciate
is-
everybody participating. We always have good participation. I'm always happy with that.
Yes.
So we do.
Yeah,
So,
you wanna gavel us out?
yeah, I'm gonna gavel us out. Meeting adjourned.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Good night.
I'm gonna have to figure out how to stop the recording over here, I guess.
Do you have, I was typing like mad back here.
Okay.
The last thing said, review and vote on comprehensive plan document, review and vote on governance changes, and then there was like one more thing.
Committee charter.
Yeah, I got that. Okay, so the whole thing I've got is report from council liaison, review and vote on committee charter, review and vote on comprehensive plan document, review and vote on governance changes, and then there was.
Then there was review the internal employee survey
Yes,
results,
thank you.
and then the village, the wider employee results if available.
I'll say review internal or village and external.
All right, let's see, how do we
Got it.
stop the recording? Let's see. Pause, stop recording.